Part 1. It was just one kiss that ruined everything, at least, that's what she told me. I didn't mean to. It just happened, Emma said, her eyes glassy with fake remorse, like she was rehearsing lines for a drama class, not confessing to the collapse of our marriage. It was just a moment, a mistake. Yeah, a moment. One that torched 8 years of loyalty, late-night hospital runs with crying babies, anniversary dinners we couldn't afford but had anyway, and every sacrifice I made for the woman I thought would bury me one day. But let me rewind. Let me take you back to the days before I knew I was married to a stranger. Emma and I met during our last year of college. She was the type to call out a professor mid-lecture and somehow charm him while doing it. She had this fire in her, mischievous and bold, and I was the fool who thought that fire would keep us warm forever. I was working 3 jobs trying to survive architecture school, and she was double majoring in psychology and iced coffee. We clicked. Not instantly, but deeply. Fast forward a decade. We had the house, the dog, the kids, the American dream. And like most people living the dream, we never stopped to check if we were both still awake. At first, the cracks were small. It was a random Tuesday night. I came home early from the site, dropped my bag, kissed her on the cheek, and asked if she wanted to watch a movie, like we used to, before exhaustion replaced romance. She didn't even look up. I don't owe you intimacy, Jason. Just like that. Like she was reciting a TED Talk on boundaries. I blinked. What? She finally looked at me, expressionless, cold. Just because we're married doesn't mean you're entitled to anything. The silence that followed was heavier than any argument we'd ever had. I should have fought back. Told her how those words felt like a bullet between the ribs. But I didn't. I walked to the guest room, laid down on the bed, and stared at the ceiling like it had the answers I couldn't find in her eyes anymore. The next morning, she acted like nothing happened. Made pancakes. Asked if I could take the kids to school. I played along. But inside, something shifted. The foundation of my trust had cracked, and beneath it, I started seeing things I had ignored for years. Like how her phone never left her hand. How she started dressing like the women she used to roll her eyes at. How she started working late more often, even though I knew for a fact that real estate agents don't have closings at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. Then came the pill. It was the foil from a birth control strip, half hidden near the bathroom sink. At first, I didn't think much of it, until I flipped it over and saw the label Tuesday. Thing is, it was Wednesday. Emma hadn't been on the pill in years. I know because I got a vasectomy after our second kid. That was our decision. Our promise that we were done with surprises. So what the hell was this? I didn't confront her. Not then. I put the foil back exactly where I found it. If I was going to dig into this pit, I wanted to know how deep it went before I started pulling people into it. That night, I watched her sleep. Peacefully. Like someone without a care in the world. And I realized something that made my chest hurt more than anything she'd said. She wasn't worried because she thought I'd never question her. Because I never had. I was dependable. Loyal. Predictable. And predictable men don't snoop. Don't suspect. Don't leave. But I wasn't that man anymore. Over the next few days, I paid attention. Really paid attention. The fake smiles. The I love you said out of habit, not feeling. The sudden obsession with keeping her phone on silent, face down, and password protected. She wasn't just pulling away, she was already gone. I'd just been too blind to see it. Still, I wanted to be wrong. I prayed I was paranoid, that the pill was old, or for a friend. That she was stressed. Distracted. Anything but unfaithful. But the truth has a way of clawing its way through denial. I stopped touching her. She didn't notice. I stopped texting her during the day. No reaction. I started sleeping in the guest room again. Not even a question. I was married to a ghost. A ghost who still smiled for pictures and asked me to grab almond milk from the store, like we weren't already buried beneath years of lies. I told myself I'd wait. Watch. Be sure. But in my gut, I already knew. Something was broken. And I was done pretending we could fix it. Part 2. The pill foil started it. But it was the phone bill that cracked it wide open. See, Emma and I share a plan, family data, shared minutes, the whole deal. I hadn't looked at that bill in years. AutoPay handled it, and I had better things to do than dig through numbers. But paranoia is a hell of a motivator. I pulled it up one night after she fell asleep, her back turned to me in a way that felt deliberate. The lights were off. Her breathing, steady. I sat in the glow of my laptop, sifting through line after line, and that's when I saw it. One number. Over and over again. Late-night texts. Calls during lunch. Random, irregular times. Not a work contact. Not a friend I knew. A quick reverse search gave me a name, Derek Whitmore. I stared at it. The name didn't mean anything to me. Yet. But it would. The next morning, I asked her casually, "Hey, do you know a Derek Whitmore?" She froze. Not visibly. Not dramatically. But a beat too long. Then, "Yeah, I think he's a mortgage rep or something. I might have worked with him once or twice." "Why?" "Just saw the name on a real estate site." "Ah," she said. Then smiled. "Don't worry, he's married." Wasn't what I asked, but sure. That was the moment I knew she was lying. She always gave too much information when she lied, always tried to answer questions I hadn't asked. So I did what any rational, heartbroken man with nothing left to lose would do. I ordered a burner phone, installed a message sync app, waited for the perfect window to access hers. A few days later, it came. She was in the shower, music blaring. I used her face to unlock it, paired it to mine, and just like that, I had a front row seat to her private life. And let me tell you, the show was ugly. Derek wasn't just a mortgage rep. He was the mortgage rep she texted every day. Photos, jokes, late-night confessions, emotional garbage disguised as flirty banter. The tipping point? A message from him at 11:47 p.m. "Still thinking about that weekend in Chicago. When can we do that again?" Her response: "God, I know. I've been dreaming about it. I need that escape again. You made me feel alive." Chicago. 2 months ago, she'd gone on a women's business retreat. Some self-development, female empowerment nonsense. Supposed to be motivational speeches and networking. I'd watched the kids. Canceled a project. Told her to go take care of herself. Turns out, Derek was doing the taking care. I didn't explode. Didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed more. Not because I had doubts, but because I knew the second I opened my mouth, the game would change. She'd get careful, defensive, maybe even cry her way out of it. So I played dumb. Meanwhile, I was digging. I pulled our credit card statements. Found hotel charges. Restaurants. One spa visit in a city. Then I checked the calendar. She had told me she was with her mother that weekend. Emma, who once mocked people who cheated. Who once said loyalty is the bare minimum. My wife. Letting some other man make her feel alive in a hotel room while I taught our daughter how to ride a bike without training wheels. It felt surreal. Like my entire life had been shot on a green screen and someone had just yanked down the backdrop. I started listening to everything differently. The way she said she was so tired all the time. The way she avoided touch but kept up appearances. The way she kept over-explaining where she'd been, as if reading from a script. The final straw was her voicemail. She was in the kitchen, laughing over FaceTime with Megan again. I was sitting on the porch. Her phone buzzed on the table. I saw the name before the screen went black. Derek. She let it go to voicemail. A minute later, curiosity got the better of me. I pressed play. "Hey babe. Just wanted to hear your voice. You looked amazing yesterday. That little skirt was criminal. Hope you're still wearing it. Talk soon." I stared at her through the kitchen window. Laughing. Cooking. Wearing the exact same skirt. And that's when I knew. This wasn't a phase. This wasn't a weak moment or a drunken mistake. This was a second life she'd carved out right under my nose. Later that night, I brought up Chicago. "You ever think about that women's retreat?" I asked casually. She smiled. "Of course. It was empowering." "Why?" "No reason. Just wondering if you ever thought about going again." She shrugged. "Maybe. When things calm down." I nodded, and for the first time in our marriage, I looked her dead in the eye and thought, "You don't deserve me." The next day, I started making calls. Not to her. Not to Derek. To lawyers. To accountants. To people who'd help me build a strategy. Because I wasn't just a man in pain. I was a man preparing for war. Part 3. There's a moment when doubt becomes truth. When the suspicion that's been eating at you, keeping you awake at night, twisting your gut, finally stands in front of you with its face fully exposed. That moment came for me on a Tuesday at 3:07 p.m., and it came in the form of a video. The cloned phone had synced everything. Photos, messages, even her cloud backups. I was sitting in my truck outside the office, engine idling, waiting for a conference call that would never happen because the moment I opened the photo gallery and saw the hidden folder, it was over. Inside were videos. Her and him. Emma and Derek. Hotel rooms. One of them in a mirror. Her in lingerie I'd never seen before talking to him, not just performing, but laughing, teasing, narrating the experience like they were characters in some erotic fantasy built on the grave of our marriage. It wasn't just the sex. It was the joy on her face, the lightness, the freedom, the way she looked at him. God, that killed me. That look used to be mine. It used to mean something. Now it was just a weapon she turned on me. There was no spinning it. No, I was drunk. No, it didn't mean anything. This was planned, filmed, repeated. I watched the first 30 seconds of one video, then closed the app. That was enough. My stomach twisted. My chest felt like it had been hollowed out with a crowbar. But even through the devastation, something else was stirring. Clarity. I finally knew the truth. No more half-truths or benefit of the doubt. No more second-guessing myself or wondering if I was crazy. I wasn't crazy. I was a husband betrayed. And now? Now I was done playing the role of the fool. That night, I cooked dinner like normal. Set the table. Made her favorite pasta. She walked in, kissed me on the cheek, and said, "Smells amazing." I wanted to laugh, cry, scream. But I just smiled and poured her a glass of wine. We ate like any other couple. Talked about our day. She mentioned she might be going to a conference next month, Chicago, of course. Said Megan might join her again. I nodded. That's great. You should go. She looked at me suspiciously, like she could sense something different in my tone, but I smiled again. Cool, calm, collected. Because behind my back, the wheels were already turning. The next morning, I went into full preparation mode. I made 3 calls, one to a divorce attorney I'd already vetted, one to a private investigator to dig into Derek's marriage. I had a hunch he wasn't as single as she claimed, and one to my buddy Carter, who worked in cybersecurity. Carter owed me big time. I helped him out of a nasty IRS mess years ago. Now it was payback. I need everything, I told him. Emails, deleted texts, any aliases. If she's using a second number, I want it. If she's storing stuff in the cloud, I want it. If there's a fake account for him under some girl's name, I want that too. Jesus, Jay, Carter said. You're serious. Deadly. By the end of the week, I had everything. Hotel receipts from their weekends. Plane tickets. Screenshots. Bank transactions. Even a Venmo payment labeled for the best night ever with a damn fire emoji. You ever see your wife pay another man for screwing her while you're at home folding your kids' laundry? Yeah, that'll change a man. But the final piece, the one that sealed her fate, came from the private investigator. Derek had a wife. 2 kids. Lived in a gated neighborhood less than 20 minutes from us. And guess what? His wife had no clue. I stared at the photos the PI sent. Derek at a school play, holding a toddler. Him kissing his wife's temple on a park bench. He looked like a devoted family man. The kind of guy I used to be. The rage didn't come fast. It was slow, boiling, focused. Because now it wasn't just about betrayal. It was about justice. I didn't want to scream at Emma. I didn't want to break dishes or throw accusations. I wanted to dismantle her fantasy piece by piece. I wanted her to feel the ground shift beneath her like it had under me. So I planned the confrontation like an architect draws blueprints. I picked a day. A Friday. Our anniversary. She thought we were going to dinner. I let her get dressed up, put on that new dress she bought on sale. She was smiling when she came downstairs. You look amazing, I said. We're not going to a restaurant, though. She frowned. Then where? My office. Her smile faltered. Why? I want to show you something. She was quiet on the drive. Nervous. But not enough. Not yet. We got there. I unlocked the conference room. On the screen, a slideshow. Photos. Messages. Videos. All of it. Ready to go. I sat her down. Pressed play. She didn't speak for the first 2 minutes. Just stared. Her hands started to shake. Her breathing turned shallow. Stop, she whispered. No. Jason. You made this bed, I said calmly. Now sit in it. When the final video ended, I stood. Looked down at the woman who once promised me forever. You don't have to say anything. This isn't a discussion. This is a notification. She blinked. Tears streaming. You planned this? Every second. Just like you planned Chicago. She sobbed. Reach for me. I stepped back. This isn't revenge, I said. Revenge would be ruining your reputation, your career, sending all this to Derek's wife. This is mercy. I turned and walked out. She didn't follow. And that was the first moment since this nightmare began that I could finally breathe. Part 4. Some men break. Some beg. Some sink into bottles or bury their rage in new women. Me? I got methodical. Emma thought the confrontation was the end of it, that I'd scream, cry, maybe pack a bag and disappear like a wounded animal. She underestimated me. She thought the man who folded baby onesies and kissed her forehead while she snuck off to hotel rooms wouldn't have the spine to fight back. What she didn't know was that while she was busy sneaking around, I was sharpening knives. Not the kind that draw blood. The kind that cut in courtrooms, bank accounts, and reputations. My lawyer, Graham, had been prepped weeks before that slideshow night. A shark in a tailored suit, the kind of guy who smiled when things got ugly. He'd seen the evidence. Watched the videos. Read the transcripts. He didn't blink. "We'll bury her," he said simply. The plan was surgical. First, we filed for divorce, irreconcilable differences, of course. But attached were stacks of exhibits. Infidelity. Fraud. Emotional abuse. Documentation that would make any judge choke on their gavel. Then came the financials. See, while I played the supportive husband, Emma had made one fatal mistake. She let me handle the books. I was the one who set up our accounts, tracked our savings, oversaw the investments. She never paid attention to that stuff, just swiped the card and smiled. So I started moving money. Nothing illegal. Nothing she could challenge. I just made sure that marital funds, especially anything tied to my income, got transferred into protected pre-divorce accounts. Documented. Time-stamped. Immaculate. She wouldn't get a dime more than she deserved. I closed the joint credit cards. Froze lines of credit. Canceled her access to my business accounts. She found out when her spa declined her payment. Cue the first of many angry voicemails. "This is petty, Jason. We can handle this like adults." Adults don't screw their spouses behind their backs and then ask for fairness. That ship had sailed. But I wasn't done. I sent a neat little package, photos, texts, a copy of the hotel receipt, to Derek's wife. Her name was Melanie. They had 2 kids. Her reply was one line. "Thank you. I've suspected for months. This confirms it." An hour later, I got a second email. A lawyer's contact. Turns out, Melanie moved fast. Derek was served papers that same week. According to Graham, Derek's company was family-owned. Once Melanie went public, the board, mostly her relatives, removed him from his position. He didn't just lose his marriage. He lost his career. And his face? It popped up on a few real estate gossip sites under "scandalous realtor love affair exposed." Not because of me. I'd never stooped to leaking anything. But karma? She's efficient when handed evidence. Emma's world crumbled in silence. She tried to save face at first. Told friends we were growing apart. That it was mutual. That she was focusing on herself. Then the truth started leaking. Quietly. Strategically. First, I spoke to her boss, someone I knew well. Showed him the timeline. Pointed out how many of her sick days were spent in other men's hotel rooms. I didn't ask for her to be fired. But I didn't have to. She got pulled off her biggest account the next week. Then came a suspension pending internal review. She didn't talk much after that. I even offered her a settlement, generous, really. No alimony, no claim on my business, and I'd keep the house. She could walk away with her car, her personal savings, and her dignity. She rejected it. "Why are you doing this?" she asked me, voice trembling. "You ruined my life, Emma. I'm just making sure you don't profit from it." It wasn't revenge. Not entirely. It was control. After months of being lied to, gaslit, and humiliated, I was taking my life back piece by piece. And I wasn't alone. Turns out, a lot of people in our circle didn't like cheaters. Some distanced themselves politely. Others cut her off completely. Even her own sister, once her biggest cheerleader, called me and said, "I'm so sorry." I had no idea. I believed her. Emma always had a talent for lying with a straight face. The hardest part was the kids. They were young. Too young to understand the full weight of what was happening. I didn't tell them about Derek. I just told them Mom and Dad weren't going to be together anymore, but we still loved them. Emma didn't fight for custody. She knew she didn't stand a chance. Not with the travel, the affair, the evidence. She settled for weekends and holidays. When she came to pick them up that first Friday, she couldn't look me in the eye. Good. I kept the house. Repainted the bedroom. Removed every photo of us. Turned our anniversary into a trash bin reminder on my phone. Take out the garbage. I even started dating again. Slowly. Cautiously. And when the time came, I told the truth. Not all of it. But enough. I was married. She cheated. I made sure she didn't win. They respected that. Hell, some even admired it. One night, a friend asked me if I regretted going scorched earth. Not for a second. Emma lit the match. I just made sure the fire stayed controlled and legal. She thought betrayal would break me. It didn't. It forged something harder, smarter, meaner, maybe, but definitely free. Part 5. They say time heals all wounds. That's a damn lie. Time doesn't heal anything. It just teaches you how to stop picking at the scar. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I stood in my own kitchen, alone, peaceful, and more alive than I'd been in years. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet that doesn't feel empty, just clean. No lies hanging in the air. No guilt. No fake smiles across the dinner table. Just peace. Emma? She was long gone. Physically, emotionally, financially. She took the deal after her attorney realized dragging things out would only cost her more. Public sympathy had dried up, especially after the photos got around. I didn't release them. I didn't need to. The truth leaks when people can't keep their stories straight. She moved in with a friend. Word was, Derek ditched her 3 weeks after his wife took the kids and left town. Apparently, being a secret is fun until you're the baggage. Last I heard, Emma was working part-time at a smaller firm, trying to rebuild. Good for her. I wish her exactly what she earned. As for me, I rebuilt something better. Starting with myself. I hit the gym harder than ever. Nothing like betrayal to turn pain into fuel. I dropped 20 pounds, picked up 10 of muscle, and saw something in the mirror I hadn't seen in years. Fire. Not anger. Fire. Purpose. A reason to wake up every day and build something again, but this time just for me. I started traveling. Short trips at first. A fishing weekend with my brother. A solo drive up to the mountains with nothing but whiskey and silence. Then longer ones. New cities. New people. No one asking where I'd been. No one lying through white teeth while texting their side piece under the table. I reconnected with old friends. The ones Emma didn't like. The ones she claimed brought out a side of me she didn't enjoy. Turns out, that side of me? That was the real me. The me she couldn't manipulate. Eventually, I started dating. But different this time. I wasn't looking for another Emma. I wasn't looking for the one. I was looking for peace, honesty, and a woman who didn't wear a mask to bed and call it marriage. I met someone. Her name's Claire. She's divorced too. 2 years older than me, zero tolerance for bullshit, and one of the few people who didn't flinch when I told her my story. She didn't run. She didn't try to fix me. She just listened. The first night we had dinner, I told her the line Emma fed me, it was just one kiss. Claire laughed so hard she nearly choked on her wine. Then she looked me dead in the eye and said, "That's how cowards confess. In fractions." Yeah, she got it. We're not planning a future. We're living one. Day by day. No fairy tales. No promises carved in stone. Just honesty. And after everything I'd been through, that felt revolutionary. But make no mistake, this isn't a redemption arc. This isn't me saying I found love again and suddenly all is forgiven. No, I don't forgive Emma. Not because I'm bitter, but because some things don't deserve forgiveness. Some wounds should scar. They remind you of what you survived. Emma didn't just cheat. She spit on the life we built and expected me to keep watering it like it could grow back. So no, I don't wish her happiness. I don't wish her pain either. I wish her clarity. The kind that hits you when you realize the person you betrayed is doing better without you. The kind that comes late at night when your phone doesn't buzz, your friends don't call, and no one's begging you to come home. That's what she deserves. A mirror and enough silence to hear her own bullshit echo. I'm not a victim. I'm not broken. I'm not even angry anymore. I'm focused. Focused on my business, which has doubled since the split. Focused on my kids, who now get a father who's present, not preoccupied with keeping a fake marriage from collapsing. Focused on me, for the first damn time in a decade. You want to know what betrayal teaches you? It teaches you that being loyal to the wrong person is the fastest way to betray yourself. I let things slide. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I sacrificed. Compromised. Bit my tongue until it bled. Never again. No, I speak my mind. I set boundaries. I don't chase. I observe. And if someone thinks I'm hard to deal with because of that, good. That means the armor works. The world didn't end when Emma walked out of my life. It finally began. The man I used to be, soft, forgiving, too damn patient, that guy died the moment I pressed play on that voicemail. The man I am now? He doesn't settle. He doesn't beg. He doesn't entertain liars, manipulators, or anyone who thinks love is a currency to be traded for convenience. New beginnings don't always come wrapped in hope and sunlight. Sometimes they come crawling out of wreckage, bloodied and breathless, dragging themselves from the fire with clenched fists and teeth bared. But when they stand, God help anyone who tries to knock them down again. The end.